My son knew the type of life that I was living, and he knew what type of life I was going to become. Because I'll tell you this, as a father, my flesh want to do what the flesh want to do, but my spirit tells me, man, I don't have to move. Without him, I couldn't stand here. I'll be in jail, man, but I gave it to the Lord. I told my son, I'm going to see you again. I ain't going to mourn you, but I'm going to send you off, man, like a king that you is.
All
right. You there, Oos?
Hear me?
Yep, got you.
All right, man.
You tapped in.
Right on.
All right, how you doing, Oos?
Oh, man, I'm blessed.
So where you at right now? You out there in San Jose?
Yeah, I'm in San Jose right now.
Okay. East side?
On the east side.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
So you've been out there your whole life?
I've been out here all my life.
Yeah.
I've been out here from the island, man, since 1979. My grandmother brought me out here. I was like third grade, going on fourth. And been out here all my life, man. San Jose, all my life, man. Wasn't born, but I was raised out here.
Right.
Oh.
So growing up in San Jose, what was that like for you? You know what I mean? As a Samoan, you know, from what I hear when I was young, I used to hear that the East Side got a gang of Samoans out there. But I've never really been out there to hang out or anything like that. So for you, what was that like growing up out there?
I can honestly tell you this. It's like, I don't know anywhere else, right? But out here, man, in San Jose, man, they say, man, if you're not from the East Side, you ain't from nowhere. You know?
Yeah.
So how it, man, it was like, you know, it was hard. You know what I mean? Like, try to fit in, you know. Back then, you know, like they didn't really know Samoans, and you know, man, like we were kind of known, man, as like fresh off the boat type of people. And you know, we just had to like to let them know, man, like, you know, where we come from and who we are, and that sort of thing, you know.
Right. So growing up out there, you know, you guys felt like you kind of had to pave your way as well.
You know, there were, you know, because I'm kind of like one of the youngest one, man, that kind of like ran with the crew back in the days. So I had some older Usos, you know, that kind of like paved the way, man. We were just the one, man, that took the legacy or whatever was laid out, and we ran with it, you know. Because we really wasn't the type, man, like that we really wanted to be that kind, you know.
Right.
But yet, you know, like, because we, you know what I mean, like, you know, we were the type that church was something, man, that was big in us. And you know, like how I did it, man, like, you know, I gangbang at night, man, and trying to do the right thing, man, in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
I was happy, man, by going to school, and you know, and did my thing at night.
Right. Yeah. I guess what I was trying to get at, because, you know, you being one of the older OG Usos, you know what I'm saying? Why is it that our people, you know, choose to gravitate towards gangs and things like that? You know what I mean? Being that we come from, you know, a strong background of discipline and church and things like that, and family values.
Well, I can honestly tell you this, Oos, like it wasn't something that we wanted to do, you know? You know, it was just something, man, that came along, man, with the lifestyle, man, that we were kind of like walking into, you know? And you know what I mean? Like we all had a choice, man, like to become this or become that, you know? But at that time, man, like, you know, being a gangbanger wasn't really, man, like, you know, it wasn't really a big thing for me, you know, like it wasn't my life, man. But the more I ended up being around, man, the homies, man, I fell into it, a lifestyle. But so when we did it, our whole outlook on it, man, was almost like, because the way we were being pushed, we didn't want the ones behind us to come to be pushed in that kind of sense, you know? You know what I mean? So, so we didn't want to, yet it was almost like we were forced to, you know?
Right.
To organize something that was gonna almost like, you know what I mean? Like we had to protect our own selves, you know? And not the one behind us, man, that to get caught up in that web, man. So we really had to like structure something and kind of like let these guys and let the world know in a sense, man, like, man, you know, our young brothers and sisters, man, like they're not gonna get done like how you guys are trying to do us, you know?
Yeah. And that's how, like, you know, these poly gangs were born, pretty much, is for more of a where we came over here and we didn't feel like we fit in and were accepted, where we felt sometimes we were even being bullied at times. So that, yeah, that's why I was asking you. And now that we have these gangs that are full blown, you know, we're starting to see the kickback and the repercussions of it. What do you think about it today, you know, for our youth? Like, what do we do now, knowing that these gangs are starting to hurt? You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. I feel like we need to start educating our youth more now into maybe figuring out better ways like sports, church, and you know, finding mentors and things like that. Something we didn't have back in the days, like the OGs.
Yeah. So my look at that. It's like our generation, the one behind us, need us. You know, right. They really need us, man. But it's up to us, right? Like to want to take that sacrifice. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm just gonna speak on me. You know, I had to find change, man. And the only way that I can find change, I just literally, man, I had to let my guards down and let God do what God can do. You know, and so like for me, man, I'm trying to put it because I'm a youth leader now. You know, and you know me foremost, and I gotta give God all the glory and the praise and the honor. You know, like for somebody like myself, man, where I came from and the things that I've been through, that God literally took me and like, you know, washed me up, man, and gave me a whole new mentality. That my thing is like for, you know what I mean, for us as just the older generation, like, you know, it's just like, you know what I mean, I'm gonna go in the Word of God on this, man, because even, you know what I mean, David, man, like wanted to build God's temple, man. But God told him, man, nah, man, you done messed everything up, you know? You done messed everything up, man. I'm going to have your son build it, you know? So my look at that, man, it's like we done messed it up. You feel me? But that doesn't mean, man, we can't prepare them, you know? Behind us, man, right? To be able, man, to continue to stay in the fight, the good fight. But, right. It takes for us, you know, as older ones, to be able to see it, man, out of the eyes that we're supposed to see it out of, in order for us to be able, man, to help the next generation. And for me, I can honestly say this, man, that we may not be able to change anything, but we can prepare these ones, man, to fight the fight that we couldn't fight.
Right,
you know?
right.
You know what I mean? But it takes sacrifice. And you know, and it takes a heart, man, that is willing, like to want to help these young people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because these young people, man, like the way I see it, man, like if we don't get on the ball right now, man, we're gonna lose them. You know what I mean? And we literally gonna lose them, man. Yeah. And my thing about that, man, is like, you know, I got to be able to be equipped with the Word of God, man, because I literally want to go back into these hoods and be able, man, to have enough firepower, in a sense, man, like the Word within me, man, that I can draw them, because it's only, man, by the Spirit of God, man, that's going to happen.
Right. And for a lot of these youngsters, you know, it coming from an OG like you who has been involved in that, like you yourself, you even served time as well, right?
Yeah.
Was that back in the 80s, 90s?
In the 90s, I started out at DVI in Tracy, and I went to Quentin, and from Quentin, I went to Pelican Bay. So I got out, man, like, and I started off like in 1999, and I got out in 2007, man, and I never looked back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I got out and you know what I mean? I had like, you know, bumps and things, you know what I mean, of that nature, man, here and there, man. But like I was literally, man, trying to get myself out of the game. You know, and trying to get my life right because, you know what I mean, like besides my son Cutty, I have 4 other kids, man, I gotta look out for and be an example for them, you know?
Right.
So yeah, man, like you know, when I got out of the Bay, man, that place, man, got me not to look back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like that's the first penitentiary. When I got out, I ain't never looked back when I got in that bus, man. My way.
I feel it.
Yeah, so, but you know what I mean? Now that I got the opportunity to see the light, man, for what it is, I'm able, man, to see pretty wide now, thanks to God. And I'm trying to do everything, man, I can possibly could, man, with the help of my mentor, my pastor, Darcy Faipa'u, to be able, man, like to push this movement, you know what I mean, this God movement, because that's what we came from, man. We came from that background. Like we know who God is, and we know, man, what he can do. It's just we don't have that kind of relationship with him, man. It's just like most of us as older OGs, man, like we gotta have that kind of relationship, man, with him, man, so we can be able to have a relationship to want to help these people behind us.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to try to save somebody when you can't even save you. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. So for you, it just pretty much hit rock bottom when you went to prison, Pelican Bay and all that, right? You was just like, man, I'm tired of this life. It's time for a change.
Man, like when I got to the Bay, man, I knew like if I wasn't gonna make a change and turn, man, from my wicked ways, man, I was gonna find myself like spending the rest of my life behind them walls, man, or getting, you know?
Yeah.
And I just thank the Lord, man, like that even though, man, I wasn't, you know what I mean, that I was faithless, man, like the man upstairs, man, continue to be faithful, man, to me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's exactly, man, like how I'm able, man, like to sit here and talk to you, you know? Because, man, there were some things, man, that I've been through, man, that I shouldn't be sitting over here, man, but by the grace I am. So, you know, like grace given, man, you know, it needs to be give. You know, so, you know what I mean? Like, man, I my whole heart, man, is helping these young people, man, like refine, man, like who they are and who they need to be, man, like not for the street, but you know what I mean, for something positive, man, like that needs to be in their life.
Right. When we was growing up as youngsters, well, like me, I was very hard-headed. I don't know about you, but, you know, when people would try to talk to me, I didn't want to hear it. You know, I always felt like people didn't understand where I was coming from. Like it was hard to relate to somebody telling me to stay out of trouble, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that now by sharing our testimony, you know what I mean, sharing our background, what we went through, this is the new answer for our youth today, that maybe that they can find something they can relate to, the struggles and everything that we went through, and maybe we can come to some common ground and make some sense out of this? Because the whole thing with the gang thing, for me personally, doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, for them, it does. And so I think that for us OGs, we need to meet them on that level to understand where they're coming from, right? And someone like you, who's been there, been through that, you should be able to make sense with them and kind of reach that common ground with them. What do you think you see yourself in a few years, or maybe, you know, with the youth and everything and helping them? Do you plan on getting out there? I know you say you want to help them. Do you plan on getting out there, reaching out to some organizations or anything like that?
Well, you know, my pastor, man, like my mentor, man, he's a retired correctional officer, you know? So, you know, like there's other organizations, man, that, you know what I mean, that's out here, man, that, you know, as far as, you know what I mean, like Samoan community, that we can literally be able to come together, man, as a body, right? To be able, man, like to help these young people, because I'm a firm believer of this, man. There's only 3 types of people, man, on this street. There's 3 types of people, man. People that know what happened, then people that want to know what happened, and people that make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it's like they you know me, as for me, man, I'm just looking at different avenues, you know what I mean, and trying to structure myself, man, with the word, because our mess becomes a big message. You know what I mean? And like where you've been and how you took it, man, and the platform that you're allowed to be able, man, to be a voice, because that's what you are, right? You know, a voice for us, man, in a positive way. That if you can do it, then anybody can.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just we come to limit ourselves, you know, because it's just like, man, talent with passion, you're not gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like man, you can think something, but if your heart is not in it, man, it ain't gonna move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, like I literally what I want to do is to continue to be equipped in the word, because I can't save anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Like, there's nothing that I can do, man, that will save anybody, because the generation, man, these young ones, their whole thing is like they don't want us to preach to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, because just like you said, man, we were hard-headed, right? These dudes nowadays, their head is even more harder than us.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, and you know, but I truly believe, man, like what I want to do, it's not, man, it's not so much try to preach to these dudes, man, but walk, man, what I want to teach them, you know?
Yeah.
I let the way that I live draw them into know, man, that somebody like myself that used to push that concrete, and if I can be able to turn, man, you know, like, man, they can do the same thing, you know?
Got you.
But you know what I mean? I'm a firm believer, man, that when we come to limit God's unlimited power without limited expectation, it never works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say this: don't let our condition change our position, man. Right?
Right.
I mean, like, there's greatness in us, man. And when I say, I'm speaking about our people, because you know what I mean. Like, there's time, man, where they feel less of that, you know. But man, there's greatness in us, and if we believe that, man, we'll literally continue to live like that, and the next generation will live like that, and you'll continue to fold, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, man, it's like I just let the way that I operate and live, man, I let that be the word of God, that I know, man, that it will draw some of these people, because a doctor can't go in the hood and tell these people, man, like, how not to be in there, you know? It literally had to take people like us and like yourself, right? And those OGs that are willing, you know, to be able to help the generation. And I believe it, with God's power, that anything is possible.
Yeah, that's real talk. And, you know, it's just plain and simple, live by example, you know. But like I was saying, when we grew up, we didn't really have these OGs. A lot of the OGs are coming home from the pen these days, you know what I'm saying? And they're trying to get out there, and they're trying to speak with the youth as well. But I love what you just said right there. By living by example is how we gonna help these youngsters, you know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to talk about it. It's one thing to preach about it, you know what I'm saying? But is your lifestyle lining up with the way you talking, you know? And that's real shit right there. I appreciate that.
You know, like, man, you know, because I remember, man, like people would try to talk to me about change, man, right? And there'll be a whole different thing, man, you know? And I'm like, man, how you gonna tell me about change? So these youngsters, man, they seen that, you know?
Right.
They see all these other ones, man, like the ones that coming out of the penitentiary, man, you know what I mean? Like, I know some of them came out and find change, but you know, some of them still come out and still want to do this kind of move and make these kind of moves.
Yeah.
That it benefit them, right?
Yeah.
I want to make move, man, that will benefit the community. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like, if I'm gonna go that route, man, and like, I'm gonna make sure, man, like, because I know this for a fact. Out of all the youth that I work with, man, I'm not gonna be able to save all of them. But if I can save one, it was worth me turning my life around, you know? It was worth of me, like, literally changing, if I can help one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That one, I literally have to walk what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Because like I always hear, we might be the only Bible, man, that somebody that don't know how to read, man, will be able to read.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
Like,
you mentioned how a lot of us, we're really good people, and I mean, we got these talents, you know what I'm saying? And your son as well, Cutty Banks, rest in love. He had this talent with music. And one thing for sure about missing him today, I feel like we're missing a lot of positive things in music that we're bringing our folks together. It's just sad that we get involved in these gangs, or we get involved in situations where we're not thinking right. I wish that we can turn back the hands of time, but like you said, today we must live that example for others, so things like this doesn't happen to our youth, to our children, and moving forward. So I love what you're preaching there. I love what you're putting down.
Well, me, my son's like life, man. Like I can, you know what I mean. And I'm not even gonna sugarcoat or try to like play like my son was innocent, or you know what I mean. Like he had his flaws, you know what I mean. But one thing I know about that kid, man, like he wasn't what they portrayed him to be. Like, he wasn't a trigger type of dude, man. And I understand, like, talent, man will always come with enemies. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad, man, because we come from a place, man, like there's not much that is given in a sense, man. You know what I mean? Where we can come to grow, man, to who we want to become, So when the opportunity is given, man, like, and like there'll always be somebody, man, that don't like you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Always be somebody, man, that's gonna envy what you do, man. And I can honestly tell you, within our community, there's a lot of that.
Mm.
And I can speak on that, man, And for me, it's like, instead of these dudes, man, understand, man, like to come together to be able to do the things that can help the younger ones be able to be looked up to, man. Like they want to take what they don't know, because I can honestly say this. That street, man, they don't know nothing about. Whoever gonna watch this might take this wrong, man, but that's on them, man. You know what I mean? Like, but most of them on that block, on that street, man, like don't really know, man, what it's about out there,
Yeah.
All they're doing is just following, We don't have so much leaders, man, out there, man, because the way I came from and I grew up, man, is like we've always looked out for one another,
Mm-hmm.
It mattered, you was a poly, man, that you were gonna be loved, And I just, like you said, man, I just feel like the street is taking, man, like this young people, man, like into a whole different direction, where like they're becoming more of other ethnic than us,
Right.
Because we're not like that, man. If we got a problem, man, with one another, man, we usually, man, like I grew up, man, shooting it from the shoulder, man,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, if I'm gonna get my tooth knocked out, man, whatever, man, it's cool, man. It'll grow back, man. But we'll get to see the next day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like nowadays, man, like, you know what I mean? These youngsters, man, like don't really have it like that,
No.
They're quick to pull something. You know what I mean? Instead of gloving it up. So,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I just hope, man, that through all this, that whoever will watch this, is youngsters, man, gang banger, gang member, whatever, man, that they can realize, like, even though we may not know one another, but we all have that same kind of heart, because we all came from the same rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I'm always, man, like, be like this, man. If I drive down the street, man, I see another Uso I don't even know, man, get out, man. Like, I'm helping them, man,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I take that, man, and I put it, man, in the spiritual realm, man. Like, my way of helping them is continue to help me,
Right.
Continue to feel the spirit that's in me, man, that's going to continue to lead me to do the right thing. So these young can see it, man. Like, if this dude that was, like, so bad can be able, man, to change life and do something that we thought can never be done, then, hey, man, I'm all with it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You hit something that I think about a lot, and like you said, adopting culture. It's a new type of way of life. I mean, I know we kind of, like you said, back in the days, we more or less stuck together and we looked out for one another. These days, it's a little different, of course. And I think a lot of the problem is what you said right there, is that we all come from the same rock. And I think a lot of us are losing that touch and losing touch with our background and our upbringing and our roots, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but to see another poly, we should know that, whether they wearing blue or red or whatever they claim, whatever they're from, we should know that they're from Samoa first, you know what I'm saying? They're from a Polynesian family or whatnot, and they have a certain upbringing that we can relate to. You know, this Crip and blood thing isn't our culture. You know, it's not something that we grew up with and really truly understand. I learned that when I went to CYA. I was banging Crip, and I went to CYA, and I found out really quick that I wasn't no Crip. You know what I'm saying? I'm not from a certified hood. I'm not from where it began. You know, it was just something I adopted to because I felt like I could relate to it. And I think a lot of our poly kids, you know what I'm saying, our youngsters these days, they're not relating to the family aspect of things, and they're relating more to the homeboys, to the streets and things like that. You know, I wonder what we can do to change that. Maybe families need to get more intact and be there for their children, have more communication the way we bring our kids up, right?
Well, you know, like just like I would tell, man, the youth that I work with, right, and their parents, I would tell their parents, man, like their kids is the greatest thing ever given to them, you know?
Yeah.
Just like us, our kids are the greatest thing given to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order for them to see the greatest in them, it's a must that see the greatest in us, you know?
Mm.
You know what I mean? But in order for them to see the greatest that's in us, it's a must that they see the greatest that lives in us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That is the only way, man, that these young people are going to be able to see the greatest that lives in them. You know? And I really believe, man, that the only way that will come, man, to be is because we can have all the talk, man, on like what we're doing right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not at home, you know? And I truly believe, man, like that we're losing this battle out here, man, on the block because we're losing it at home.
Mm.
You feel? You know? And so for me, it's like, man, I can be a church, right? But if I can't be a church at home, man, there's no reason why I should be sitting in them pews, man.
Mm.
You feel me? Because my house is my congregation, man. And it's something, man, it's a place where God allows me to be that man that he has made and created me to be. Mm-hmm. So, and like our fighting, man, with our youth, man, like literally it starts, man, within our homes, man. Mm. And it's because we can have all the right words, right? And so forth, man. But if it's not instilled within them from where they spend 95% of their time, then what can we do? You know what I mean? Right? You know, like, because I could tell you this, man. Because when I first went to the pen, man, like they asked me, you know, they said, man, you gang bang? I said, yeah, man, I gang bang, you know? And it's just, so who you want to run with? I said, man, before I was a Crip, man, I'm a Uso, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's always going to be like that. So when I got into the, you know what I mean, like behind the wall, man, I got to function, man, with Bloods. You know what I mean? And at first I couldn't understand it, man. But when I was in Quentin and Mekki, man, says, man, you better leave that on the street, you know? And so I got to embrace these dudes. And so when we got down, man, with the Balangis in 99, man, in DBI, like I literally had to fight next to a Coco, you know?
Yep.
Man, and after all that, man, it's when that feeling for me, man, like came, man, like I had to embrace who I am, man, and who I want to become, you know? And even though like my son type, man, that ran, man, with you know what I mean, with the block like that, man, you know, and it's because he's seen it in me, you know? He's seen it in me. And so, you know, my thing, my whole outlook and my saying to this is, man, you know, like our young people, man, this blood and this Crip stuff, they really, man, had to find out, man, like what it is, you know? You know what I mean? Because most, and like, they don't even know what that blue flag, man, that red flag, all they know, man, is because they're homeboy, man. Like, so, you know, like, but I literally want to say, you know, whoever's going to be watching this, man, like, there's a choice, man, you know? And that flag that you have on, man, it's a choice, man, that either going to get you death or life. Feel me? You know?
Yeah, and like you said, you know what I mean, living that lifestyle, you either going to end up dead or in the penitentiary. And when you end up in the penitentiary, you know, you end up next to your brothers in there, Polynesian brothers, your Asian brothers, and these are folks that you was funking with on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, you cellies with them, and you got to have each other's back, and you got to, you know, protect one another, because in there, it's a whole different story. It has nothing to do with gangs, man. It's with your peoples. You know what I'm saying? And so when you get in there, you start to find out, man, all that gang stuff was a lie. You know what I mean? Culture is what was real, you know? Yeah. So, you know, I love that you pointed that out right there. The fact that you had to be next to someone who was from an opposite gang than you know, and have each other's back during a riot, you know, in prison, you know what I'm saying? That's some real shit. And that's some shit that people don't realize that they're going to have to deal with that if they end up in the penitentiary.
Yeah, man. Like that's what the street don't realize. Because, and most of these dudes, man, like, they ain't been anywhere, you know?
Right.
Never seen nothing, man. You know what I mean? Like, all the only thing, man, like, they did, man, was they hear something, you know?
Yeah.
That's it, man. They ain't never seen, man, like, you know? And so, you know, them pulling a gun and taking somebody's life, man. My thing about that, man, is like, anybody can take a life. You know what I mean? They think it's hard. I think that's one of the easiest things, man, in life, taking somebody's life, right? The hardest thing, man, this is the hardest thing, and I understand this in life, is to be able to give somebody that. You know? It's easy to take a life, but it's so hard, man. You know what I mean? To give life to somebody. And the reason why, man, it's so hard for people, man, to do that, because people, man, like these young people nowadays, instead of them having an understanding heart, they always want to be understood, you know? You know what I mean? Instead of them having a heart, man, that understand, man, look, man, like, you take somebody's life, either your life gonna be taken, your family life gonna be taken, or you're gonna spend the rest of your life somewhere, man, you know? And some of them, man, like, they feel like that's how they make a name for themselves. I tell the youth, like, man, you wanna make a name for yourself, man, you gonna play sports, bro. You score a touchdown or score a basket, man, and you tell them where you from. That's making a name for yourself, man. You know what I mean? Instead of you sitting in the courtroom, man, trying to fight, man, for something you shouldn't even fight for. You know what I mean? Man, we come from a place, man, where opportunity, man, it's not even given. We're at a place now where it's given to us, man. You know. So what you gonna do with it, right? What you gonna do with it? You still gonna hang out on the block? You know what I mean? And find the next one to follow? Or you gonna take it, man, and become a leader, man, that you know what I mean? I know that they were created to be.
Real shit, Oz, real shit. So I wanted to ask you this. When you contacted me, you said something about you wanting to bridge the gap. What did you mean by wanting to bridge the gap?
Well, like my whole thing, man, is because we're still going to court, you know, right? And you know what I mean? When all this happened to Cutty, you know what I mean? Like, me being part of, man, of the block, man, like, I knew, man, like, the homie really wanted to do something, you know? But I wasn't going to let it go down that river, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Because I didn't really understand everything, man. But I understand enough to know, man, like, in order for me to be forgiven, it's a must that I forgive, you know? You know? And so when I had my son's funeral, I literally use that platform, man, to bring people to the cross, you know? And I know, like, many of them, man, really probably didn't feel it, but I wasn't trying to make anybody feel anything, you know? I just wanted them to know, man, like, there's greater, man. Like, if they really love this kid, there's only one way, man, that you're going to be able to see that kid again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's you literally, man, accepting Jesus in your heart as your Lord and your Savior. So for me, man, when I said I wanted a bridge, I want to be able, man, to bring, man, like, you know, because I know, you know, Reupena's family and they're still hurting, man, from the brother being, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want them to know, man, like, whatever they feel, right, that, you know, I can literally stand on this, man, like, that Cutty had nothing to do with any of that stuff, you know, right? So I want to be able, man, like, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we're both hurting, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're hurting and we're hurting. But there's only one way, man, that we can be able to come together and mourn, man, like what's going on within our families. If we literally, man, got to be able to allow God, man, to be God in the circumstances. You know what I mean? Like for me, I don't have no hard feelings. You know what I mean? Like I love my son, you know. I don't know Reupena in there, but I feel for them, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter what other people will feel, man, about what I'm saying, man. What I'm saying is like God is the foremost thing in my life, man. And that's exactly how I'm gonna roll. Like, God has to be the center of everything that I do, man. You know, and even though that we're still going to court, you know, I just want to make sure, man, like, if the family is watching this, just know, man, what from where I stand, and I'm going to speak on my son's behalf, you know, like, that we can put all our differences together, man, and let's connect to be able to help the next generation, you know? You know, let's put all our differences to the side. You know what I mean? And let's do what God has called us to do, and that is to go and preach, man, to all nations. You know what I mean? And all nations, to me, are the ones behind us. You know what I mean? So you know, like I said, man, like, in order for me to be forgiven, man, it's a must that I forgave. You know, and that's exactly what I did. I forgave, man, like, you know, the man that did that, and the lady, you know, but yet they still have to answer to the law of the land, you know? That's just something, man, like, you know, it has to happen. Right. But my thing is, you know, I just want to be able, man, to be that voice that will say, look, man, let's you know what I mean, let's get together, you know, and let's find common ground and a solution to where we can help other families by helping these young people not to go through what we went through, you know?
Yeah.
And let God's name be praised, man, in the process of all that, because it's him that's going to put it together, man, right? Like,
right. See, that's real grown man shit right there. That's what I'm talking about. Because when will it end? When will it end? It takes something like this to really, really stop it. I mean, that's a real big position to take for a father, you know what I'm saying? And I really respect that. And I'm sure a lot of people who end up watching this are going to respect it as well. You know, that's some real grown man stuff right there. Man, I love what you putting down, Oos. I really appreciate, you know, what you giving, the knowledge you're giving, the love you giving to our peoples and everybody out there, man. It really means a lot. Is there anything else that you would want to cover before we close, and, you know, maybe something else that I might have missed myself? Well, sure. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay. First, I just want to thank God, right? And thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because these are opportunities that is rare that you will come across. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like, I literally continue to pray that God's voice will be heard loud. You know what I mean? Like, when we're able, man, like, to do this, you know, and I have no doubt that God's voice is being heard. So, you know, I just want to thank you for the opportunity and your crew. You know what I'm saying? I want to give a shout out, man, like, you know what I mean, to the boys out here, man, in San Jose, as well as where you at, and you know what I mean. I just want to give a shout out, man, to Reupena and his family, man. You know, God bless them and God continue to keep them, man. You know, and you know that that we'll continue to have more, more meetings like this, man, because, we don't have much time left. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally want to be able to reach these young people. And I just got to continue to pray, man, that God will show me, you know what I mean? Like, and give me a vision, man, like, of how to draw these kids, man, to them, man, and continue, man, to walk the word and do the right thing, man, so these people can know, man, like, you know what I mean? There's definitely change, you know what I mean? If they want to grab it and let their heart, man, like, be humble enough to understand there's greater, man, than whatever, man, that they want to be part of on that block. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That block, man, like, it's always going to be there, man, no matter if they're part of it or not, you know?
Right.
They can't take it nowhere, man. So what they need to do, man, is rise up, man, right? Is rise up, man, and do what they're supposed to do. And that's to bring life and light, not only, man, into where they're at, man, but into their own families, because, most of them have kids of their own now, you know what I mean, that they will see what's going on, man, like, in this world, man, and we ain't got that much time, man, so it's time to get it together, man, and you know what I mean, and know, man, like greater is who that lives in us than who that lives in the world, man,
Yep.
So I want to thank you, for the opportunity, man. And may God bless you, man, in everything that you do, your family. Continue to order all your steps, you know what I mean? And continue, man, the movement, because, you know what I mean, this platform is big,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Big, man, you know what I mean? And, like, we got to have, us as Usos, man, like, you know what I mean, from the block, man, got to have somebody, you know what I mean, that our voice can be heard, man, right? And God chose, man. So, you know what I mean? I'm blessed, man. Like, today, man, I'm able to be part of what you're doing.
It's all good, Oos, man. It's all love.
All right, Oos, man. Thank you, man. And God bless you and yours, man.
God bless you and your family, too. And y'all know what it is. Stay the fuck out of trouble.
You know.
I'm a east side, baby. And all I ever wanted was someone to feel my pain. But I'm out here on my lonely misery. Send a praise to my dead lows. Disrespect my oos and get your head blown. And whack a nigga hood up off his headstone. For I'm disrespectful. Catch a nigga slipping, then we eat and leave that nigga across the streets bare feet. But forgive me if I must.